Okay, so how did I get this info at email coming to my personal email? So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to come up to accounts, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add another account. So in this case, I'm going to add info at. So this is our generic info, and I'm going to log in. There we go. And here is our info at account. Yeah, I can save that. And see, now that I've saved that here, when I move to any other computer with Chrome, I won't need to remember my login again. So as you can see now, I can now switch between my default account, which is daniel@faunandfocus.org, to info@faunandfocus.org. But if I wanted to check the email over here, it's kind of annoying to have to, switch back and forth between accounts or leave multiple tabs open. Remember, every tab you leave open is more RAM consumed by Google Chrome. So to set up this integration, you're going to go to your secondary email first. So in this case, it's the info at. So what I'm going to do is on the secondary email, I'm going to come to settings, and I'm going to go to see all settings. And I'm going to go over to forwarding, POP, and IMAP. And what you want to make sure is that these are enabled. So you need to make sure that POP is enabled for all mail. So the forwarding, you don't have to worry about. So forwarding, you need to make sure that your POP is enabled. And what I would suggest is that you set up this option here, POP download. When messages are accessed with POP, mark Fauna and Focus's mail copy as read. So what that basically means is it's going to automatically send, it's not forwarding, it's just sending an extra copy over to your other account. And when you open it and read it on that, it knows that you've read it in your other account, so it will mark it as read over here. That's what this means. You can choose to leave it as unread, or you can choose to archive it. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. For me, I just choose to mark it as, okay, this has been read already. IMAP, you don't have to worry about that with what we're currently doing, but this would be the first step to have multiple accounts accessed from a single account. So in the secondary account, we're going to go over here and make sure that POP is enabled for all mail. All right. You can also, if you don't want to be backlogged with a ton of old emails, and this is actually important, you can click enable POP for mail that arrives from now on. So it will only send the new stuff from today moving forward. It will now be sending a copy over to your other account. So maybe that's a good one to do from now on when you're setting it up the first time. Otherwise, you'll get a lot of old emails coming in. When you're finished with that, it's really important to remember to click Save Changes. If you don't click Save Changes, none of that is going to matter. Okay, now before we fully close the secondary account, the account that we want to access through our primary one, there's one more thing we need to do, and it's a bit tricky. Now, you might be able to skip this step, but if it doesn't work, then this is probably the problem. And this is one of those things that is very difficult to find, so it's a nice trick that I'm giving you here. And that is that from here, we're going to open a new tab, and I want you guys to visit this website. And I'll put a link to this in the description below, so you can just copy and paste it easily. But it's basically just myaccount.google.com/less-secure-apps. You're going to click enter on that. Now it is going to ask you to log in, and you need to make sure that you're logging in this case, from your secondary account. So in this case, it's going to be this one. This is the secondary account that we're going for. If it logs you in automatically, just double check again by checking up here. Remember I said anytime you're on a Google thing, it's going to show that account symbol in the top right. So make sure you're logged into the right account, and if you're in your default account, just go ahead and click on that to switch over to the account that we want to be in. So you want to be in your secondary account thing here. You're just going to make sure that this is checked to on. And again, just a few seconds, it saves automatically. So then you can just close this window and we're done with that. And we can close this window and we're done with that. And the first thing you're going to do is add another account. So you're going to click right here, which is add email address. So you're going to click on this and it's going to open this yellow box. Now, if you don't see this yellow box, maybe it's behind your current Chrome window like that, right? So you can just move your Chrome window to look for it, or you can just press Alt-Tab to look for it and have it come to the front. So up to you. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put a name for this email account, right? So in this case, I just want this to be info, or I could just call it Fauna in Focus, something like that. And then so for the email, I would actually type in the name of the email that I want to add, like so. And normally I'd click treat as an alias. That means it'll all come to you. So you should leave it checked as treat as an alias. So you're gonna go next step, and it's gonna ask you for a password, and you're just gonna log in, and you're done. And so that's how you get access here to adding another email address. Now, this is only half of the situation, right? What we have just done is basically given your primary email permission to send mail using that other email address. And that's actually the easy part. And so now you'll notice that when I click compose to write an email, I have a little toggle here, and I can just switch between various emails. And if I click Team Fauna and Focus, it's now no longer coming from me. My personal signature is gone. It's literally going to send the mail as info@faunaandfocus.org. And so this is great if you want to respond to a booking just with, yep, thanks for your booking. Great. You can just respond directly from the email that is here. Another thing that you'll be able to choose is what is the default response email. If you click respond to an email that was sent to info@, you can choose to have it default to respond to that same email, or to default to your personal email, and so it's always coming from you personally. That's all set customizable when you initially set up this email. So right here, you see, when replying to a message, do I always reply from the same address the message was sent to, or do I reply from the default address? In my case, Daniel@FaunaFocus. So for me, it makes more sense to always reply from the same address that the message was sent to. And so this is basically going to be sending mail and replying to mails using that secondary email, right? But the next thing we need to do is also receive mail from those other accounts. And so to do that, I need to repeat this process, but I need to do it down here. The great thing is this page automatically saves its updates now, so you don't need to click save or anything. We're going to actually move down to checking mail from other accounts. So in this case, we're going to click on add mail account, and you're going to start by just typing it in. So oops. And again, this yellow pop-up box might come behind your window, so you can just Alt-Tab through. Now, in the username section, please type the full email account that is shown there. For the password, go ahead and type your password for that account to log into that account. And then you want to make sure that this is set to pop.gmail.com. Your port should be on 995. And you can check, I would suggest checking these boxes like so. So leave a copy of retrieved message on the server. Actually, that one we don't need. Always use secure connection. This one definitely you need to make sure that stays checked. And label incoming messages. You should do that. That's very helpful because basically that means that in your primary email, these will automatically have a label that shows info@faunaandfocus.org. All right. Now, in some cases, you'll have to put something else here. You'll have to put your domain, and you'll have to change the port to, I think it's 1110 or 110. However, if this doesn't work, I will also include a link to the Google tutorial on the other method. That'll be in the description below. However, even though that method was supposed to work for our organization, this was the method that actually ended up working. So once you click Add Account, this should go through. And if everything is done properly, then you'll see it be added to the list here, and it will start checking the mail. Now, something that you should be aware of is that when you have done this, it is not going to be checking the mail every second. It will check the mail based on the average frequency of mail coming into those accounts. So if you have a very busy account that is receiving a lot of email, it will check it very frequently. So if it's a very important account that constantly receives messages, it'll probably check it every 5 minutes or so. If it's not a very frequently used account, it'll check it every 30 minutes or 40 minutes, but you can always just force it to check mail now. So you can just click here and it'll check the mail now. And what happens with this mail? Well, if you have any new mail in those accounts, then they will appear right here in your primary account's inbox. So as you can see, I am logged in with Daniel@faunaandfocus.org. However, I am receiving emails from info@. and I can prove it because I'll very quickly just send an email to info@faunaandfocus.org. We'll call it test, and can I send from my email to info@ and let's see if it goes. So we'll send it. So there's the test. So it was just sent. And so we can, and there it is, received. So that's how fast it was in this case. So there we go. So now if I click on this, we'll see that it's from. So in this case, this is coming from dan@faunaandfocus.org, and it was sent to info@faunaandfocus.org. So even though it was sent to info@, it arrived in my inbox here. And if I reply, you'll notice that it defaults to the info@faunaandfocus.org email. And again, if I click in there, I can switch that to any one of the other emails that I have account to reply from. So yeah, this is how you set up multiple accounts from a single page. You can label them whatever color you want by coming over here and changing the label color, right? So if you want to draw more attention to those things that are popping out, you can do that from here. And it's a very useful way of having a single person manage multiple accounts, and it gives you and your team a little bit more control over managing complex email interactions. So that's going to wrap up our overview of Gmail and managing multiple accounts through a single Gmail account.